douchebags. Terminate, germinate, or sperminate.
All right, so like I said, we're going to switch it up. This is usually where I throw out a few fantasy players and we say what we think we're going to happen. So, but this time we're going to throw out these coaches that got fired. Okay, so terminate here. If you pick terminate, you would have fired and or wouldn't hire. Germinate would hire as an offensive or defensive coordinator. Okay, and sperminate means this coach is going to explode if given another chance. All right? So let's start off with everybody's favorite coach, Bill O'Brien. All right?
Really?
He was the first one to get fired this season. He was 0-4, started the season 0-4. But, let's talk about these losses were to Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. So you got the bad rep, but that's sort of a tough schedule out of the gates. Probably what really got him fired was he was the GM. He traded away Hopkins. I can't say come on enough about that. And one of the other things, he's a disciplinary coach, which means he's a dickhead. You know what I mean? Seriously.
Yeah.
But this makes sense because, have you ever looked at his face? He actually has an ass on his chin.
He has an ass chin?
Yeah.
You know what I'm big old Ben Affleck on there?
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Todd? Terminate? Germinate or sperminate? Bill O'Brien. Come on.
Bill O'Brien, I'm just going to go ahead and terminate him to college football.
I don't even know if he belongs there.
Maybe the Gators.
I would like to also pick their next coach.
Oh, you want to do that? All right, go ahead. All
take
right,
it to the next level.
Go ahead.
And we are with the Titans. I kind of thinking, what's this guy's name? Oh, that's right.
I don't know. What's his name?
I think you wrote that when you were.
I can see Marvin Lewis going
to the Texans.
Yeah, they need that in there. They need a little discipline. Somebody can straighten them back out. Their defense was terrible. I mean, you can't score 40 points every game.
Okay.
Defense had nothing to offer this year.
All right. I'll keep my eyes open for Marvin Lewis. What do you think, Brando? Terminate, germinate, sperminate, Bill O'Brien.
Well, I mean, it's going to go back and forth with Bill O'Brien. I mean, I think in some ways he's a stand-up guy. He steps up to the plate. He's maybe, I don't know if he a lot of people say he puts pressure on people. He's not the type of guy to back down. It seems like he kind of took too much space, or maybe he was given too much responsibility, one or the other. But offensive coordinator, head coach, GM, all these things, the guy has just been a train wreck. I mean, he's done every trade you shouldn't have done. He's split up players that were great together, and he hasn't been able to put together wins. Sometimes coaches go in, general managers go in, they do this kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it doesn't end up equaling wins. So if it's not working out for you, then that means he's not doing the right thing. If you're pushing your weight around and you're getting results from throwing your weight around, hey, then everybody loves you. But if you're throwing your weight around and you're not getting results, you're getting nothing but kickback. You're getting arguments with J.J. Watt. You're making bad trades. Everybody's kind of against you. At that point, you got to do more than just terminate the guy. You got to put him in the garbage can, put a pile of poop on him, and shit can him.
So you're Oscar the Grouch in him, huh?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So I think, you got to grouch him.
All right. Well, all this expert insight. What do you think's going to happen here, Bill O'Brien? What would you do? Terminate, germinate, or sperminate, Coach Vass? Well, what are you thinking here, huh?
Well, somebody kind of stole my answer. I would say sperminate, but to college football. Bill O'Brien is a good offensive mind, but he wore too many hats. He was the GM. He was the head coach. He was also the offensive coordinator. Not one person can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Defense is a little different. You can maybe pull that off, but not on offense. And I think all of that suffered. And even still, the Texans were decent on offense, not this year, not counting this year. But I think that if you just was restricted to an offensive position under a strong head coach, maybe Nick Saban, he would be very good at that level. He'd be very good at developing quarterbacks. So I would take him in the NFL. I mean, I think I'm going to say sperminate on both levels as only an offensive coordinator.
Right.
But he's got to be with somebody who's strong, because he starts getting into, and it has to be I think it has to be with an offensive head coach too, because if you put him with the defensive head coach, you can fracture a locker room. You get started in us versus them bullshit. So if he was hired by, an offensive mind, I know I'm kind of going back on what I'm saying. Saban's his own deal. He lives in his own world. Nobody's going to usurp Saban's power at Alabama. So the NFL, if you put him with a guy, oh shit, I can't even think of anybody right now. But I think if you put him, or if it is a defensive coach, it has to be somebody that is very strong in their position, like a Pete Carroll. I'd love to see Bill O'Brien work with Russell Wilson.
So you see Bill O'Brien and Nick Saban changing spots, or do you see Bill O'Brien and Dan Mullins changing coaching positions together? Dan Mullins is on his way out of college, I think. So.
Well, I think the Alabama OC job's open. I keep hearing it's him or Adam Gase, right, which I think is is insane, but whatever. Nick Saban knows better than I do.
Yeah, but
he's not leaving Alabama.
Case has had success in the past. Would you say you'd like to see maybe O'Brien in a offensive coordinating role, and that would be your best spot for him if you were going to germinate him? I think we would call that germinating then.
Yeah. Well,
I would not let him touch a head coaching job ever.
Okay, so you wouldn't terminate him; you'd germinate him.
You'd turn him into Sarkisian.
Or you'd sperminate him on a college level.
Turn him into Sarkisian.
Would you give him a head coach at a college position?
Don't Lane Kiffin.
No.
We don't need another Lane Kiffin. Sorry.
All right. Let's move on to Dan Quinn, formerly of the Atlanta Falcons. All right. Now, he started off the season 0-5, but remember, he made it to the Super Bowl, had a huge lead, and then lost it to New England in the biggest Super Bowl comeback, all right, which left Falcon fans in tears.
Kyle Shanahan lost it for him, by the way, just throwing that out there. I don't blame Dan Quinn for shit.
Come on now. Come on.
He's blaming Kyle.
This is crazy.
All right.
So
Well, it's true. The offense did
was Kyle... Is Shanahan? When did Shanahan leave there?
Kyle's actually, I believe he left the Browns because of Manziel. No. He ran out of Cleveland.
I know, but he was
Atlanta.
He was in Atlanta, but he's not in Atlanta anymore.
No, he's in Frisco, but he went over there. He had a high-powered offense.
Yeah, you still can't explain the way that they have just given away football games, the way they have given away football games since that Patriots game. They have done nothing but found ways to lose.
Well, this is true.
You can't put that on defensive coordinator. I think there's a little bit of head coach problem there.
All right. Well, what do you think, Brando? What would you do over here with Dan Quinn, or would have done? Were you talking terminate, germinate, sperminate, Dan Quinn?
I think that, again, you got a situation where they had a tough schedule to get started, and I think that canning him in the middle of the season with everything else going on in the Falcons wasn't the right move. I would have kept him, so I would have germinated him. Moving forward, I would probably sperminate him with another team. I think Dan Quinn's a high energy guy that once again, we can't really say why the Falcons, you could say it's Matt Ryan, you could say it's the play calling, and there's a million different things you could point to, but I don't think Dan Quinn is the thing to point to in this situation. A lot of times people do these things. And I think it's a little bit harsh on the coaches, so I would say germinate them.
I'm just going to go ahead and call Atlanta here last few seasons. Since that Super Bowl, they've been a huge NBL.
Yeah.
They have found ways to lose games, all sorts of ways.
Kind of hard to argue with that.
But NFC East is a tough division. The South or the East.
But per the topic we're talking about now, terminate, germinate, or sperminate Dan Quinn.
Well, I really don't even want to talk about Dan Quinn. I want to talk about Rasheed Morris.
We're talking about Dan Quinn.
Raheem Morris for me is their head coach right now.
Yeah, he is. But the question is Dan Quinn.
I think he needs some time off, a little vacation.
Okay, so germinate.
Change things around. Germinate him out. Raheem Morris, I think he's going to end up getting this job at Atlanta. And if he doesn't, he's at least going to go back to defensive coordinator there.
Coach Frost, what are your picks on this one? What would you do with Dan Quinn? Let's hear it from you.
I would sperminate. I think he's a good head coach. I think he had a bad run of form at the beginning of the year. His top wide receivers hurt.
Yep.
He's always hurt.
I know that results have to count on some level, but I have a hard time with firing coaches 5 games in the middle of a global pandemic with all that the hell's been breaking loose.
I agree with that.
That was a dumb move in my opinion, and I think he's a damn good coach, and I think he should get another shot.
Yeah,
but if you're the owner or the GM, and all of a sudden you're hearing the same record you heard last year, and it started off the first 5 tracks are the same. Yeah, but the same record you were just listening to last year, wouldn't you think that it's just time? All right, we need to make a culture change. We need to do something, and I think that's where he had to go. He's done.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I understand both sides. I understand both sides of it.
I'm terminating him.
So you moved from germinate to terminate?
No, I was always terminating him.
You just said germinate like 2 seconds ago.
He's going to take some vacation time.
That's terminating.
Vacation time is terminating.
Oh, okay. So you're one of those types of owners.
Yeah, he's taking a little time. He's going to be a Marvin Lewis.
Take a little time, but we want you back. But we want you to go on vacation first.
No, he's not coming back to Atlanta.
All right. Let's move on to Matt Patricia, formerly of the Detroit Lions. All right. Now, this cool guy, was fired 2 days after Thanksgiving when they lost to those Houston Texans 41-25. Another hard-headed coach. All right. Not exactly a player's coach. And yet another rocket scientist who should probably fly to another planet because nobody likes him or his beard.
Could work for SpaceX.
Well, maybe he might. I don't know. He could rub people the wrong way there as well, though, Todd. So what are you going to do here, Matt Patricia? Terminate, germinate, or sperminate?
I don't know. I really don't know that much about him. But if you go to the Lions,
if
you're going to be a coach at the Lions, you're asking to just swim with sharks, and that's terrible. That's terrible. I think I really don't know. I assume somebody's going to give him a chance. So I'm going to sperminate him because it's hard to judge any coach off of your job when you're a Lions coach. They're just historically terrible for some reason.
But he was sort of hired over there because he's a defensive-minded guy. I mean, they had the offense. They got Stafford. They got weapons. He went over. He did not do anything for that.
I think the only reason they
got rid of that cornerback to the Eagles was it Slay.
I know, but that's why their offense looks so good is because they're always trying to catch up. They have never. Their offense only puts up points because they're trying to score with the other team. They're never stopping nobody. They're not.
That's why he was hired.
Well, that's why I still think I'm still going to sperminate him to another team.
Right.
I am.
Brando, help us out here.
And I'm going to replace him
with this guy.
Replace him with Arthur Smith from the Titans.
Look at this guy.
I'm not agreeing with Todd, but I would germinate him. I would like to see him move back into a one-role coach. I think he's great as an offensive coordinator.
Let's terminate.
Just focusing on that with another team, but I would germinate him first, and then I would sperminate him with as just a one. I don't think a head coach position was ever in the cards for him.
So you were going to
He's way
little
too
foreplay with him, huh?
Nibbling. It's kind of like what Danny does with peppers.
Icy hot, my man.
You ever seen Danny eat a pepper? He nibbles on it,
takes all the hot stuff out, all the seeds out, dumps them out.
Yeah.
Eats it. Go
Not too bad. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my take on it.
All right, Coach Bass, you've been nice to these coaches so far, and I know this guy's on the defensive side of the ball, but come on, Matt Patricia. I mean, he did. What do you think? Come on.
Are you there, Vass?
We lost.
No, it's just I'm having a little issue with hearing, but I would say as a head coach, terminate. I heard enough. I mean, just watching the players celebrate after he got fired I've never seen anything like that. They were current players were just going to town. I heard he was a prick coming in. He was late to his own meetings. You can't do that shit. So I would terminate there. I still think he's got a good defensive mind, but I think he needs to go back to the Bill Belichick School of Rehabilitation for Coaches and go work for his mulleted son as an assistant before he can ever think about flying out of the nest again.
All right, some truth. Finally,
you said his mulleted son?
I know, with the last name Patricia.
Does his son? When you say mullet, does his son have a mullet?
Belichick's son, right?
Oh,
right.
Does he have a mullet? Yes.
Yeah.
Does he wear sweatpants?
Are we talking about like?
Big time.
Are we talking about like